For the entirety of this video, I'm going to ask that whatever you do not think of the color red. Hello, my name is Stephanie. I'm a therapist in Long Island, New York that specializes in the treatment of eating disorders and body image issues. If you like this video, at the end of the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in learning more about eating disorders, eating issues, body image issues, general mental health and well-being, and therapeutic tools that can help, please subscribe to my channel. So you're probably thinking about my question a little earlier, right? Or my statement, actually. As I said before, please do not think of the color red for the duration of this video. Today I wanted to talk about how we have the tendency to label foods as good or bad, and what is the criteria for a food to be labeled as either. So we like to think that, oh, okay, we have a grouping of foods that are good or more good. So we're thinking all the, the vegetables that we can think of, kale and spinach and some fruits, and we're thinking brown rice or whatever you're thinking is your grouping of good food, right? And then we have all of a sudden this grouping of bad food, which, you're more than likely you're classifying ice cream and cake and pizza and sometimes pasta and, all those types of things are grouped in the bad food category. And in diets, typically then what we do is we like to restrict the bad foods, right? Okay, please stop thinking about the color red. We're not thinking about that today. Okay, now back to the topic. When you label foods as bad, or when you label foods at all, it gives the food power. So if, let's go back separate of food, right? When your parents, maybe when you were younger, said, oh, don't do something, or don't look in that door. You've seen all like the haunted house movies that, oh, don't open that door, and then all the kids are running to see what's behind the door. We like to know and we like to do what we're not supposed to. We like to engage in what's bad or off limits sometimes. So when we're saying that something is bad, it gives it more power over us. Please continue refraining from the color red, from thinking anything about the color red. So back to food, we are talking about good and bad foods. And we can absolutely acknowledge that there are foods that are more nutritious than other foods. We have foods that are doing much more for our body in a positive and healthy way. And then the foods that maybe don't really have much to do with any healthy processes of the body. But does that mean that we have to cut it out completely? If you're starting to reconnect with your body, you might be finding that you're going to be starting to reach more for the foods that were originally categorized as good or more nutritious, because you're going to feel better physically and mentally. But that doesn't mean that you have to totally eliminate cupcakes or ice cream or pizza or cake or whatever the bad foods are from your diet, from your eating plan. Okay, stop thinking about the color red, for real. Okay, so you may be wondering why I keep bringing the video back to not thinking about the color red. This is exactly how the diet mentality plays out. When we keep saying, don't do something, don't look at that, don't be tempted by that, what does it do? It brings your attention to that very thing. It gives that very thing power. And you're probably thinking, well, of course, here, you're wearing a red scarf and keep telling us not to think about the color red. But more than likely, this would just be an accessory that was totally overlooked in a video if I didn't keep bringing attention to it. Now, let's bring it back to diet mentality. If you're saying that, let's say pizza is off limits and you're at a party and there's pizza sitting right there and you smell it and, oh, it looks so good, but you keep telling yourself, don't think about it, it's not good for you, you don't need it, you don't want it, just stop thinking about it. That's going to be soon enough the only thing that you're able to think about. So why do we keep putting things off limits? Why do we keep making things or categorizing things as bad? It doesn't really seem to be getting us anywhere good. It just seems to be giving power to the food. I bet that my scarf has never had so much power before since it was manufactured, I guess. So what I propose and what I challenge you to do is to stop labeling foods. Try to avoid labeling as good or bad. You can absolutely look at foods and say that this is going to do more for my body, this is probably more nutritious, and absolutely that's what you want to fill up your eating more with. But that doesn't mean that you can't have the cake or the pizza or the ice cream or the cupcakes or whatever else you deem as bad. If you allow those foods in any way, shape, or form into your eating, you're not going to feel that you're restricting yourself, and you're also not going to have that mentality where you're constantly thinking about those things. I've had people who really struggled with restricting their food intake, and they are the ones that are cooking for everyone else or making new recipes, finding new recipes, watching shows such as like Cupcake Wars and baking competitions and stuff like that, because food is really what's all on their mind. That's all that's on their mind, because they're constantly telling themselves to not think about it. So let's try something else for a change. Let's turn the record over. Let's stop avoiding or stop putting things aside or restricting things. Allow room for everything in your eating, and you'll likely be very surprised, and that you won't engage in the behaviors that you think you will over time, which is usually you think that if you allow everything into your eating, you're just going to eat everything that originally was categorized as bad. However, that's usually not what happens. I mean, maybe you might see that for a while just because it's been off limits for so long, but what we really need to do, and what you really need to work on, is being patient with yourself. Because if you're patient with yourself and allowing yourself to dabble with this whole idea and concept, because it's very new to most people, with allowing anything to be consumed by you. Of course, like, as long as you're not allergic or anything, don't do that. But other than that, if you are just labeling it because you think it's going to make you fat or whatever the case may be, allow it. Give yourself time and see what happens. I truly think that you'll be pleasantly surprised. So again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in learning more about this type of stuff, please subscribe to my channel. I would super appreciate it. Leave a comment down below. What are you thinking? I really, really hope it's not the color red. Also, I have a blog. I talk more about all this type of stuff. I'll leave it in the description below, the link. And I really hope to see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.